A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a movie that was about a black space ninja. And today, we're going to talk about more ideas for black space ninjas with Force mystical powers. We're talking about Star Wars, and I'm Jason Inman.
I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Yes, that's right. This is where we answer your nerdy questions, especially if your nerdy questions come through our Patreon over at patreon.com/Jawiin, Jawiin. That's where you can support the channel, support the podcast, and at a certain level, the Mind University level, we will answer your questions in a video. Today's question comes from
SCOTT GUNSTREAM.
What's his question?
His question is, the year is 1977, and you're hired by George Lucas to write all of the next movies starting after Star Wars A New Hope. What would your next movie be about, and what direction would you take the franchise? We can't come up with something
that's weird.
Better than what we got. So what we're going to talk about is what we would like new Star Wars trilogies to be about.
I think
material we can't do better. So we're not gonna try.
Yeah,
Thank you, Scott, for believing that we could.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that we're not gonna give you Empire.
We're not gonna beat Empire Strikes Back. So there's no point in even trying.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's talk about new Star Wars. Tomorrow.
What we want to see. Yeah, if we got a trilogy, what would we want to see explored?
Love to hear your ideas, Ashley.
I always want, if I got a solo Star Wars movie.
You just want one?
A story. Yeah, that's what I want.
You want a Star Wars story?
I just want a Star Wars story, even though Disney pretty much unequivocally canceled those.
Can I make a guess?
Tris.
Bib Fortuna.
Don't know what, is that the blue elephant?
No, that's Max Rebo. Bib Fortuna is the guy with the little tentacle around who's Jabba's maitre domo, who's like, Sabasuguba Jedi.
Yeah, he's not quite a Twilight.
Max Rebo is the blue elephant who plays in the band.
I like the blue elephant because he looks like a Muppet.
What about Salacious B. Crumb?
He's really cute. No, I hate Salacious
What
Crumb.
about the Sarlacc?
Sure, we can have a Sarlacc.
Sure, okay, there you go. All right.
If I could have a Star Wars story, I would always want to do Ahsoka, and I would want to explore if Ahsoka lived, because sometimes it looks like Ahsoka didn't live. If Ahsoka lived while the twins were out there, what does her world look like?
Can I think the perfect title is Ahsoka Lives, a Star Wars story. Just lean into it.
Well, they make shirts and stuff. Her universe has an Ahsoka Lives shirt. I also think there's I think I could have made Solo for you.
Shh.
All you have to do is have him fight the Hutts.
Yeah, I said that. It should have been the Han Solo versus the Jabba the Hutt. And we should have seen the thing that we've always heard about.
And the shows have done such a wonderful job proving why the Hutts as a clan and as a gang are scary. They're not just like goofy-looking space slugs.
Yep.
And I want to see that writ large. I think that would be really, really cool.
Do you think Ahsoka goes and visits Obi-Wan on the planet?
I don't, because Ahsoka knows that he is there, I think Ahsoka goes to Alderaan.
Oh, interesting.
And checks in and looks and sees if Bail and Breha are good or not. I don't think she gets close, but I think she watches them.
Hot take. I think Ahsoka has no idea who those kids are.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
That's just me. I think they keep the secret close.
Well, if I'm writing it, that's not true.
Sure, you can do whatever you want. You got the power.
What would you like to see in either a standalone movie? I always want to say Solo, but the movie is called Solo, or a trilogy for Star Wars.
You know what? This is something I just came up with. I think it'd be very interesting. Rogue One was positively received. And I would say that Rogue One is a mostly enjoyable movie. I think once they get to the battle stuff, it's really, really cool. And it showed us the Rebels. I would like to see a movie from a stormtrooper's perspective. Now, I'm going to back it up because we know the stormtroopers are the evil guys, so we can't be the stormtroopers. Okay, so let's back it up to the Clone Wars. I would take a title from Kevin Rubio, a very good friend of ours, who made Troops back in the day. I'd call a movie Trooper or Troops a Star Wars story and give us Saving Private Ryan from the perspective of the clone troopers. Or some stormtroopers. Yeah. Let's see the battle from that side, like on the ground, in the muck, going a war. Because these are wars of stars. Let's see the Star Wars. Now, of course, my other choice is I've always wanted to see a Kenobi movie. It sounds like maybe they're going to do this as a Disney Plus show. Sure, whatever. You know, it's interesting. I also think there is a really great trilogy idea out there. A trilogy that is separated out, that they could have a trilogy, and there's a whole series of novels based on them. There's a series of novels set right after Return of the Jedi.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Rogue Squadron. And it stars Wedge Antilles, and it's about them doing missions, the final missions of taking down the Empire. Now, obviously, the actor who played Wedge Antilles is a little bit old, but we can recast. We did it with Solo.
You know who would kind of look like him? Scoot McNairy.
Oh, Scoot McNairy would look like him.
And he's a good actor.
Fun fact, Ewan McGregor is his nephew.
Yes, and he said that when he went into the audition.
Yeah. But anyways, so recast Wedge. And I say give us the trilogy that leads to the rebellion, the New Republic finally taking back Coruscant. It's a reverse Revenge of the Sith, sort of. So it's like, it's their movie 1 does something over here, their movie 2 does something over here, their movie 3 is the Battle of Coruscant, the final battle. And you know what? Let's do it even better. Movie 2, Jakku. Mm-hmm. You know, we see all those Star Destroyers on Jakku. Let's see that battle. Like, I mean, it would be the perfect way to take Star Wars back to A New Hope, because the thing we liked about New Hope, the reason why New Hope was such a big deal in 1977, was because it was essentially a movie about dogfighting. Mm-hmm. So let's take the franchise back to dogfighting. Luke can make cameos if we want. He doesn't need to. But like, let's make it about the good guys fighting the bad guys.
I'm of the opinion to let the original actors rest.
Mm-hmm.
They are old.
Mm-hmm.
Let them have a sleep. We can tell great Star Wars stories without them.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Lost Stars adapted.
What's that?
It's Claudia Gray's YA novel,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's the one about Leia?
no, that's called Princess Leia. Lost Stars takes place over the course of the original trilogy, but it's two ancillary characters, a girl and a boy who wind up on on opposite ends, and how that, because that way you can feed the nostalgia that Star Wars is so desperate to hold on to by literally setting it during that time period. You can use a bunch of old footage that they have rights to, that they have archived. You cast 2 like Disney or CW stars, and you just kind of shoot around them. I think it would be and fans want it. Fans want that. Fans want Kenobi. Fans want Knights of the Old Republic, and fans want Boba Fett.
The interesting thing is, I noticed in both of our pitches, we really didn't leave the original trilogy that much. And I don't know, let me ask you this opinion. This is a little side stream of this conversation. I feel, unlike Star Trek, I feel with Star Trek, like, you want to constantly go to the future. You want to move forward. It's about progress. It's about thing. But Star Wars, I find, the further we get into the future away from the original trilogy, it becomes less interesting.
Hard disagree. I think the movies get worse. I think the movies since the original trilogy have gotten progressively worse. I think the problem is Star Wars right now, the way we're making it, which is set in the future, and the main timeline, will not let go of the original trilogy. It's kind of like how all DC movies won't let go of Superman the movie. Mm-hmm. If they want to make movies in the future, they have to leave all of it behind. You gotta leave Luke behind, you gotta leave Han behind, you gotta leave Leia behind. And that's hard because that is everything that we love about Star Wars.
I'm gonna give you a devil's advocate.
Absolutely.
I like The Force Awakens. Did not like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the new characters that we have introduced can carry the franchise.
I agree, but I mean, set it like hundreds of years in the future.
My reason for bringing that point up is that I don't think anybody has created any protagonist in any new Star Wars movie, that includes Rogue One, that has matched the original trilogy.
Which is wild because they have in the TV shows.
They have, yes.
Like, Ahsoka's great.
Rebels.
Ezra's great. Yeah. Like, everyone in Rebels is great.
Mm-hmm. And I am sight unseen, just based on the pedigree of the creators involved, I have a feeling The Mandalorian's going to do it too.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
I kind of think, weirdly, and you and I have talked about this several times, I kind of weirdly think that Star Wars' future is on television. It's not in the movies. 100%
agree. I really think the best thing that Star Wars could do to make a trilogy that is exciting and fresh and new is go back to the past and do Old Republic.
True.
Because it has the familiar tropes, but we don't have to have a Skywalker, or we don't have to have a Solo, but we can reference things without being beholden to them the way things in the future
And we
are.
could actually see a full-on Jedi versus Sith battle.
Yeah, we could see, like...
thousands of people with lightsabers on both sides.
The fantasy aspect of the space epic that is Star Wars. That's what I think the smartest move would be.
Well, and yes, and I think my point for going into the future past the original trilogy, and I think what you just pitched solves that, is that, again, it was made such a big deal that the Empire was defeated in Return of the Jedi. Like it was like, oh, that's the end. And to just see that 30 years later, Empire 2.0 shows up.
Well, where do you go after you save the world, right?
Right, exactly. It's like you gave us the worst space Nazis we've ever seen. You can't top it.
Yeah.
And the new trilogy, the Rey trilogy, as I'm going to call it, has basically just given us they're flying TIE fighters still. They're still flying Star Destroyers. They're flying the same damn ships. And to me, it's not interesting.
I agree.
So go in the past, man.
Do something truly alien, dare I say, for a sci-fi franchise.
Well, don't do the Use Kong Vong, or whatever those people were called, the weird alien creatures that showed up in the books, the Expanded Universe books. So
is that with Jason and Jaina?
Yes. Yeah, these weird alien creatures show up and the Force doesn't work on them. It's weird.
Die mad that we not get them in the movies.
It's real weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of think, I think Star Wars is better on television. I really do. I think that Star Wars should set themselves up for a long-form story because I don't think any movie is ever going to top the original trilogy. Ever.
The original trilogy is lightning in a bottle. Lord of the Rings is the same thing. You can't, no matter how many of the same people you put on it, you can't recapture it.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. And that's okay because Star Wars is great on television.
It's fine.
So
there you go.
We'll report back after The Mandalorian. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, Scott
Gunstream.
Gunstream for being the best stormtrooper this side of the Use Kong Vong or the Taraji Mays. It's a episode 2 reference. I don't even know if I pronounced it right.
Taraji P. Henson?
Yeah, I don't. Yes, the Taraji P. Henson corner of the galaxy where you can hear the thoughts of men. So thank you so much. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/ it's for the 5 people that actually saw that movie.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/ Jawiin is where you can ask a question and also support this channel. Go down to the comments. Tell us whether you hate the Use Kong Vong or not. Would you like to see them in a future movie? Who fucking cares, right? Click subscribe and Ashley, tell them about our podcast.
Listen to Geek History Lesson everywhere that fine podcasts are found. We teach you everything you need to know about a character in about an hour. We have like 5 Star Wars episodes, so tune in.
See you later, troopers.